Good evening. I want to thank you for watching our video this evening. I hope you're safe at home. I regret that we're not able to be in person at the building this evening. I appreciate the elders having our best interest in mind. Truly, I hope it's all in vain, because I certainly do not desire to hear that any storms have come through, and so I hope that everyone's safe at home. You're with your family this evening, you're watching the video. Hopefully you're studying in the book of 2 Kings, reading maybe about Hezekiah and Sennacherib and Manasseh and some of those people that we're going to be studying here in the next couple of weeks. And so I hope you're safe at home, hope you're watching. The thought that I wanted to share with you this evening has got to do with VE Day, or it's Victory in Europe Day. Now, this was first celebrated on May the 8th of 1945, and this was a celebration by the Allied forces of the Germans' unconditional surrender and laying down of their arms in Europe. So this was, no doubt, it was a great day. It was a great celebration. It's hard to know exactly how many people lost their lives in World War II. I did some searches and saw a wide variety of numbers. It seems that they have changed over the years. Maybe they've gone up. One number that I saw was 75, or a couple of numbers between 75 and 85 million people. Now, that's a lot of people to be killed, but more striking to me than that, perhaps something that I hadn't thought that much about, was the one number that I saw said that 40 million of these people were civilians. Now, if you think about it, the fighting was not just between soldiers, but oftentimes Germany would invade a country, or maybe Japan. They would invade a country and they would go in, or even before the invasions, they would send planes in and they would start bombing those cities. France was invaded, Poland, many other countries. Great Britain, England was never, I don't think, officially invaded, but there were bombings that went on there. Even in London, there were bombings that went on. Some of the numbers that I saw on this was that 40,000 people were killed by the bombings in London between September the 7th, 1940, and May the 11th of 1941. And so, again, can you imagine living in a place where you'd be in constant fear that your house is going to be bombed, the place that you work, the place that you go to school, the place that you even go to church, you could be bombed while you're just going about your regular life. These people are coming in and just blowing up everything and anything, not really targeting military establishments or things of that nature, but just wreaking havoc and trying to cause destruction. And so certainly this was it was a bad time, and it was hard on the people that lived through that. Now, thinking about the United States, I don't want to ever hear anybody has done anything to attack the United States, but thinking about what we had Pearl Harbor, of course, and there was quite a few lives that were lost by the bombings from Japan on Pearl Harbor. There was actually some areas of Oregon that were bombed. That may be one that you've not heard about, but you can search for that on your own time. But yes, the mainland of the United States, there were some islands connected with Alaska that were actually invaded by the Japanese. Now, generally speaking, I think as far as the territories of the United States, mostly we had it better than a lot of those places in Europe. Now, I know that some of smaller places that were connected with the United States, the Philippines, I'm not saying that's part of the United States, but there were connections between us and them in those places, and we had people there, and some of those places were invaded. But generally speaking, the United States had it a lot better than a lot of those places in Europe. But still, the numbers that I found on the internet say that there were about 400,000 Americans that lost their lives during World War II, and that is way more than is acceptable to me, because I don't want to hear about any loss, certainly, but to think about 400,000 Americans being killed in this war, certainly it's a striking thing. And to think about all the havoc that was being wreaked by those people of terror, the Axis, those people that were trying to conquer the world. It was a terrifying time. And so to think about when the day came when they have finally had to lay down their arms and to admit that they've been defeated, don't you know that that was such a great and wonderful day of celebration? The people were so happy about it, and they had to be just ecstatic. And for many years, this continued to be a great day of celebration. Now, I don't know if you noticed, maybe you did, but when I started this whole thing, I told you that it was May the 8th, 1945. Now, possibly if you work in the school system, did you catch it? Today's May the 8th. Have you heard anybody say anything about VE Day or Victory in Europe Day? Now, our older citizens, they probably, this may be something that's sticking in their mind. Maybe it's because they had parents that served in World War II. But I'll be honest with you, aside from seeing this on the History Channel today, I've not heard any mention of today being Victory in Europe Day or VE Day. And so when I think about this, it seems to me that the celebration and the glory of that day, it's waned a little bit. But we should look back on it and think about it and be reminded of the men that served and the lives that were lost, all the casualties of that war, and certainly that victory was a great day to be celebrated. I want to make just a little bit of a Bible comparison, because that's, of course, what we're here to do. There's a much greater victory than this. I want you to think about, you are a person, you are a disciple, you are following a man that is the greatest leader of all time. That man is taken to his death. He's sold out by one of his own people. He's taken to his death. He is nailed to a cross. He's put in the ground for 3 days. All hope is lost. Things are looking very bad. Then on the 3rd day, this man is back out. He's out of the grave. He's walking around. He's being seen by the disciples. Paul describes a lot of the people, or he lists a lot of the people that saw this man Jesus, out walking around, alive, back again from the grave. Paul lists those people in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. It was an undeniable miracle. It was a great and glorious day. There's no doubt that this was good news like no other. Not just because your leader is back, not just because the guy that you've been following is back, but because it is undeniable truth, or undeniable proof that he was who he said he was. It's undeniable proof that a person, there is life after death. Our soul is going to continue on somewhere. A person can overcome the grave. Job asked the question so many years before that, if a man dies, shall he live again? Yes, Job. Yes, there is something past the grave. And Jesus was proof of that. And it was such a glorious thing. Can you imagine being one of those disciples and how let down you would be at the death of your leader? And then how glorious that victory would be when you find out that he is back again. Peter had denied Jesus. The disciples had sold him out. And when you come to the book of Acts, Peter says, we cannot but speak the things that we have seen and heard. They beat Peter and John, and they said, don't talk about this man anymore. Peter says, we've got to. We have got to. They were excited. They were on fire. And so when I think about this, I wonder if we are 2,000 years from the time of Christ, if this victory and this celebration has waned. I hope that it's not. I hope that when people read the Bible and see what a wonderful thing this is and what a blessing it is and all the things that this proves and the hope that it gives us for what's going to happen when we leave this earth, I hope that everyone sees how glorious this is. But not only that, I want you to think about it from this measure. Let me ask you this question. Can you remember when you first believed? I hope that you are not like that church at Ephesus, that the book of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 4 says that they had left their first love. I hope that you're not a person that you were on fire for the gospel when you first believed and when you first obeyed. I hope that it's not waned in you. I hope that you are living your life like you serve a leader that has overcome death, that has succeeded in the greatest victory of all time over sin and death, and that you are serving a person that is the Son of God, that has given you hope for life when you leave this earth. I hope that that's the way that you are living your life, like that's the victory that you are waiting for and that you are a part of, and that it is a great celebration, and it's not just maybe once a week, not once a month, not once a year. I hope that you're living your life like this every single day. I want to thank you once again for tuning in, for watching our video. Of course, any time that you have a need, if you need to talk to me or one of the elders, I hope that you'll reach out. I hope you know that I'm always available. If I'm in the area, I'll do my best to come and try to help you or to talk to you on the phone, whatever your need might be. Thank you once again, and I pray that you have a blessed evening.